Hi, and welcome to another terribly fun films review. I'm your host Bobby, and today I have something special for you. I'm going to review the Independence Day comics. Not just the 3 Marvel comics that were released to coincide with the original film, but also the brand new, released last Tuesday graphic novel, Dark Fathom, which sets up some of the events that we're going to see in Independence Day Resurgence. So, without further ado, come and see why my obsession with Independence Day seems to ever be growing. First up, we'll do the older comics in order of number 0, 1, and then 2. Number 0 is a prequel comic, not only comics, but to the movie itself, and it shows things that were only hinted at in the movie, such as Thomas Whitmore, before he became president, getting punched in the face by David Levinson. Those are Bill Pullman and Jeff Goldblum's characters, respectively, from the films, and there's a brief conversation about how he punched the president. We see that in this comic. And of the 3 Marvel comics, this one's easily my favorite. Not just because I get to see those things, but because I see the origin of Area 51. I see how long the aliens have been planning this attack, and it nicely fills in some very interesting things that are alluded to or discussed, but never actually seen in the original movie. To be fair, I am uncertain if I really enjoyed this just because I wanted to know those things as a lifelong fan of the first film, and I don't know if it works outside of that context. I don't know if you didn't pick up either the movie or Marvel Comics Independence Day number 1, if number 0 makes any sense. I will not claim that it does. I would like to think so, as we get a lot of narration text explaining who, what, and when we are, because we span several decades: 1947, 1960s, the 1980s, and then 1994, I think, is when the punching happens, but I don't totally remember. Might be 1993, but you get the idea. The artwork's okay. There are moments where they get the characters right, and then there are moments where they do not. This is Bill Pullman. Not so much. That's Will Smith, and I think it's a pretty accurate likeness. Not 100%, but close enough. Overall, I think number 0 is a lot of fun and an enjoyable read for fans of Independence Day. Again, I don't know if it works on its own, but for fans, it's definitely something worth checking out and reading. I got this along with number 1 and 2, which is just an adaptation of the movie, for $5 at a comic book store, so it should be fairly easy to find for a fairly cheap price. Now we're going to go on to Marvel Comics number 1. This comic goes through the destruction of DC. So that's where we get through. If you've seen the movie, you know the section I'm talking about. It starts from the beginning, goes through that moment when the aliens open the doors and start annihilating the Earth. For the most part, it's good. They flesh out certain things in this that we don't see more of in the movie, and they take away a few things that are in the movie, and I feel the balance works for the most part. Let me explain. There's a moment in here where the National Security Advisor, I think he is, I can't quite remember. In the movie, there's an advisor to the president who knows Area 51 is real. And he comes out and he says that it's real at a critical moment when he should have spoken up long before that. And he gets fired by the president for that sort of thing. And they change that up in the comic. My issue is that they change it and change the character because he offers that information as soon as they realize the aliens are a threat. That's fine because he's a side character anyway. The idea is still to get them to Area 51, so it still works. That's not the issue. The issue is, within reading the comic, he just says it out of nowhere. No one asks him about Area 51. He just goes, hey, I know a place we can go. It's full of aliens. It's Area 51. I'm paraphrasing, but you get the idea. It's really bizarre. Like, I'm not sure if these were released with the movie or slightly after, or if they got to see the advanced screening, the writers, I mean. But throughout number 1 and 2, we get certain famous lines from the film, but there's not the same context for them. It's really awkward. It's really bizarre. Okay, an example of this kind of thing that I'm discussing is in these comics here, right? In these panels of the comic here, David gets into the White House to talk to the president about the countdown that's happening. He meets up with his estranged ex-wife, Constance, and she goes, you always think you have the answers, David, but you've come this far, so show me what you've got. Whitmore must see this. It's the breakdown of an alien signal, and it pinpoints their attack time. Okay, so that's this panel, and following logically as we do, we move to this panel. This next panel, apropos of absolutely nothing, David goes, last time I saw the president, I punched him in the face. What? In the movie, Constance talks about how she can't be here, how the president won't listen, how he can't be here, how the president won't listen to him because of that. And his dad wants to know why the president won't listen to him. But here, it's just, they say it because we need to know the president doesn't like him. The weird part is that in the comic, they actually sidestep a lot of that story because they don't have as much time to focus on certain things as the movie does. So it's completely unnecessary and it's really bizarre, really awkward. It does not work. And that's the issue in both of them. Especially, it's a bigger issue number 1 though. The artwork's fine, gets all the plot points out there, but they do things that don't make sense. Like, am I missing pages? Am I missing panels? It kind of feels that way, which is awkward. Marvel Comics Independence Day number 2. And this one is a bit more action oriented. It has many more action scenes. It also has the section scene of the alien corpse that is oh so famous with Brent Spiner's Doctor character from the movie. And I think this is a stronger comic than number 1. In part because, with all the characterizations out of the way, and we move into the action, we do get rid of that awkward, threw in that line just because it's in the movie, as opposed to needing that line and having it make sense in context. So that's done away with, and we focus mostly on the kinetic, the panel work, and the action. And it flows really well. It works. Again, like in the movie, this is a big, goofy, kind of dumb thing, but it's a big, goofy, kind of dumb, really fun thing. The movie's better. Don't get me wrong, the movie is better than the comics. But comics are a decent and good 20-minute read. I mean, like, for both of them. And they're enjoyable enough to where if you're a big fan of comics and the movie, you can read them, you'll enjoy them. The artwork's good, especially considering other art at the time. And the sort of things they choose to focus on is interesting. versus what in popular culture stayed versus what the comics thought would versus the things the movie focused on versus the thing the comics focus on. They're enjoyable. They're nothing amazing. But again, number 0, totally worth it if you're a fan. The other 2, perfectly okay. That brings me to Dark Fathom. Dark Fathom comes to us from Victor Gischler, Steven Scott, Rodney Ramos, Alex Schäuble, Tazo Betten, and Ivan Rodriguez. This is the trade paperback version. They were released as individual issues. The trade paperback came out last Tuesday. The only place I found it in my town was Barnes & Noble, randomly enough. With that being said, Independence Day, Dark Fathom, it's freaking awesome. It takes place immediately after the shields are brought down of the mothership and all the other smaller ships in Independence Day. One of the ships goes crashing into the ocean, thus Dark Fathom, fathom being a seafaring term. And I think this is much better than the Marvel comics. They get to do their own thing, and they are clearly inspired by and keep that style for the aliens and their ships and whatnot. But they're not beholden to certain things, and I feel that freed them up to really tell an engaging little story. The plot here is a ship, an alien ship, crash lands into the ocean. So a submarine that was on leave gets called into duty. So it only has a bare minimum crew with some VIP guests who are there to make sure that you can get the ship, see what they're up to, destroy it if need be, that kind of thing. And that's really it. It's the crew on the ship looking for the alien ship, encountering it, discover what they're doing, and trying to survive a fight against the aliens underwater and the aliens' damaged ship. The reason it is considered a prequel comic to Resurgence and not just a side story of the Independence Day lore, if you will, is because Resurgence is taking place in real time, so 20 years later, but it's an alternate history Earth from our own, wherein all the recovered alien technology has been integrated into our existence in our lives, and the world is fundamentally altered from that. This tells the story of what really kickstarted that. The crew are on a mission to get weapons, technology, computers, whatever they can from the downed alien ship. However, the aliens are still alive. They have to fight them. The artwork is awesome. Just go to a random page. You can see the alien retains that very classic big-headed mechanical suit, because again, that is the biosuit, not the alien inside of it. They're attacking. It's a very action-heavy comic, and the action is really well drawn. Really, really easy to follow, and the way it fits in to everything is really interesting, and I like the idea of exploring these side stories. There is a novel called Independence Day Crucible that has come out that I have not had the time to read or even pick up yet. I get to it, and if it's good, I'll review it, but it'll be after my other reviews, including Resurgence, are already up. With that being said, I have a hard time imagining it's better than this. This is awesome. Artwork, great. Very good colors, very nice blending, very strong recognizable character designs, and in the course of being a side story slash prequel, they're given kind of free reign, and they go for it. They do some really cool and interesting things with how the aliens survive underwater, and with what the Marines can do on the alien ship, and how to bring them back, and what their actual mission is. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, I'm being a little more vague here because this is brand new, and people have not necessarily had the chance to read it, so I'm not going as into plot-heavy details as I did for the other comics. But trust me, it's worth it. It's engaging. The characters are smartly written, and they're very well defined. The action just keeps coming and flowing and is really well drawn. Everything about this graphic novel really works. There is, of course, a few things in the back for our enjoyment, and I will show those off. The first thing we get, this 2-page spread, is a freaking timeline in order to follow everything from the events of the crash in Roswell, New Mexico that created Area 51 all the way up to the beginning of Resurgence. It takes 2 pages. I'm glad they included this though, because it can fill you in on where things are going. It's pretty interesting. I don't believe it has any spoilers for the movie, and I certainly hope it doesn't. Then there's this secret file of Dr. Orkin and his knowledge and paperwork on the aliens he's been researching. He's the head scientist at Area 51. Then we have some of these fake, like, posters. I could have been at a barbecue, which is one of Will Smith's lines from the first movie. It's got a very 80s feel color-wise. We have a profile on Captain Joshua Adams, who is the lead in this book. And he's in the movie, in the new movie, and he's played by William Fichtner. I love William Fichtner. So this should be very exciting to see. The other side is a very 80s style Welcome to Earth panel. It's probably one of the cooler things in there in terms of that. Here's the cover gallery of the individual issues, along with their variants. And then the Resurgence sort of computer stuff and just the sort of logo. Independence Day Dark Fathom, the graphic novel, is really intense and really fun. And if you're a fan of action-oriented, alien-based graphic novels, pick it up. If you're an Independence Day fan, pick it up. If you like both, definitely pick it up. It was $14.99, 100% worth it. It's a lot of interesting fun. And I'm curious to see how the character of Adams, Captain Adams, will be integrated into the movie and what we'll see. Thank you for watching, and the next time I see you will be my review of Independence Day Resurgence. Until next time.